Hi Libra, welcome to your May 2023 a Life Sector Tarot reading with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. So these readings are purely tarot. There's no astrology in them. So with that said, remember to watch them for your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, whichever one resonates with you the most. Watch all three so that you understand which one that is. And also remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. And you should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to give these a good shuffle, and then we're going to get started. So for your May 2023, can you believe it's May already? Like, it's just insane. Like, I kind of feel like this year has just disappeared. Like, madness. All right, so for your actions and plans, you've got the Two of Swords, you've got the Queen of Wands, okay, and you've got the Judgment card, right? So this is big stuff. I gotta say, it looks like there's a big action plan that you are putting into place over the course of this month. And I'm also going to say it's very fair to say you are likely to come up against some kind of opposition here. I'm really sorry to say that, because you've got the Two of Swords, which aside from all of its other meanings can represent that there is not necessarily a cross purpose, but there's definitely potential for a bit of friction. Now you've got this with the Queen of Wands, which as an experience talks about boundaries, right? So, and the Judgment card is something big, some big change is being wrought in your life at the moment, and it's potential that you are having a conversation this month, something that you're trying to action in the world, something that you're trying to create or to do out there comes up against some kind of resistance, right? Now, interestingly enough, even though we haven't had an eclipse in your sign yet, that cycle has been initiated because we've already had the Aries eclipse. I know I said I wasn't going to talk astrology, but that's a really important point for you guys. Now, in terms of your plans, whatever you are setting into motion, you are about it. Like you are showing up for it. Like you are backing this thing, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a relationship, like whatever it is that you are initiating this month, you are backing yourself, your idea, your project, your relationship, whatever it might be, you are backing this 100%. And I love to see this, because it's like, come what may, nothing or no one is going to remove me from this. Like, this is the path that I've set for myself. And that's wonderful. It's just to say that there is likely to be some kind of resistance. So just be prepared for that, which preparation is something that you guys do very, very well. So you're all right. For your career and communications, you've got the Tower card. Okay, so you got this with the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, and you've got this with the Lovers card, right? So it is a potential, and I really hope this isn't the case, but when it comes to the career, the profession, the studies, etc., somebody who told you that they would back you 100% no matter what, you know, like, well, you know, if you say this, if you speak up, if you pipe up, I'll back you. I got to be honest with you, it looks like this person is very likely to pull out. So I wouldn't put all of your, you know, this saying keeps coming up today. So there's obviously something going on, because I'm like, okay, I hear you, Tower. I hear you, Universe. It just keeps coming up. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So if there's something that you're wanting to present, maybe a hard conversation that you feel needs to be had within the job, within the work sphere, don't count on somebody else being there to back you up, all right? If you're about this, you can do it on your own, right? One thing I know about Librans, they will come prepared with them receipts, right? So just do what you do best, okay? Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I'm really sorry to say, it looks like something that you've put a lot of work into. You might come to realize, so let's say you've written half of a really sort of important project that you've been doing as part of school, as part of your, you know, whatever. And then you get your marks, your corrections, etc. And they're like, look, you're complete. It's brilliantly written. I've done this before with something that I was studying. I'll never forget when I was doing my massage diploma. I got halfway, not even halfway, 10 pages into one of my case studies to have the teacher say to me, this is great, it's well written, but it's completely wrong. You've gone in the completely wrong direction. And I was like, no, because you put so much time and effort into it. So there's a potential here that you're needing to backtrack. With that Lovers card and the Seven of Pentacles, I will say to you, be mindful here if you're in a relationship that could interfere with the studies this month, all right? Just be mindful of that. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, if you're going to go up and say what needs to be said to the boss, to the supervisor about the organization, you know, just know you're probably going to be doing this on your own. Nothing wrong with that. But if someone's saying like, yeah, I'll totally back you, don't do it, because at the last minute they're going to pull out. Now, this Tower card with the Seven of Pentacles, there is a potential for those of you that have been in a job a long time, your company potentially is struggling this month and there might be some conversations that need to be had. I'm not saying you're losing a job. I am saying, however, the longevity of the career is maybe not as stable or doesn't look as you thought it was going to look 3, 5, 7, 10 years ago, okay? For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, again, something you've put a lot of time, effort and energy into, potentially a someone, right? If you've got employees, if you've got an assistant, whatever the case might be, someone that you've put a lot of time and effort into may suddenly turn around and say, actually, you know what, I'm leaving. Maybe a client that you spent a long time cultivating, you know, says to you, look, actually, we're going to part ways because I've found somebody that, you know, does the same thing, but for less money. They'll be back, right? That's all I'm going to say. And I don't say that out of malice or spite or anything. I'm just more than aware that Mercury doesn't go direct until the 16th, 17th of the month. And obviously Jupiter will be coming into Taurus as well. So either they come back or the chances are, you know, whatever space they leave, somebody else will be glad to fill. Now, when it comes to your, those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, this could be that you start to work on maybe some of the more sort of, not necessarily aesthetic, but practical elements of your excuse me, maybe you start to work on more of the practical elements of your life. So this, you know, literally like your home, renovations, your garden, and you're not doing this on your own, which is actually really nice. For some of you, this might come up as something that needs to be attended very quickly. For your love and relations, you've got the Magician card, gorgeous. With the Justice card, that's your energy there. And you've got this with the Ten of Swords, right? So look, on the heavier end of the scale, there is a potential with these cards. There's a potential that you're parting ways with a partner. This will be a very select few of you, not all of you. It's very likely to be for those of you whose partner is a very prominent figure within their industry, their company, institution, etc. For those of you that are specifically as well in education or in legal careers, you guys may very well have an end of a relationship coming up. That's possible. That Justice card with the Ten of Swords could potentially be the dissolving of a relationship or a partnership. All right, so possible, not guaranteed. For those of you that are single, one way that this might show up for you is that there is a person who, you know, maybe you meet them, you connect, everything goes really well, and then you discover what they do for work. Or, so as an example, no judgment, it's not anything like that. I'm just putting a scenario out there to give you an example. Let's say you meet someone, you're like, wow, this person's amazing, we absolutely click, we really get on, and then you find out they've got an OnlyFans. And you're like, yeah, I can't do it. No, thank you. So it's like something looks like really solid, really sure, really clear. And then all of a sudden there's something that's a deal breaker. It's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't, you know, whatever it is. Maybe it's what you do for work. Maybe it's, you know, I can't even think of anything else. The other thing here as well, potentially, the Magician card with the Justice card and the Ten of Swords, there's a miscommunication or potentially a deceit that happens within a relationship or around a relationship, and you're kind of like, I would be able to forgive this if ... right? You fill in the blank. And then finally, for your money and materials, you've got the Seven of Wands with the Ace of Cups. Look at that, right? And then you've got the King of Swords. So your King of Swords, very likely to be a fellow Libran, or also potentially is a Gemini, right? Now, the reason I say this, the King of Swords, usually an air sign male, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Justice card, Libra, Gemini, Lovers card, Gemini, right? So for those, now that's potentially an air sign person, could be instrumental to your improving your finances, right? That's one way this could show up. Another way that it could show up, something that you've been fighting for, battling with, going after. Maybe you've just been slogging on something that you've been trying to do or to create, and you're like, no, you know what, I'm not giving up on this. And that not giving up, this first 2 weeks of the month, you're going to see, okay, you might think to yourself, okay, I'm not giving up, and then all of a sudden something breaks and your finances, your material experience just starts to improve. I love this, because this is what happens when resilience meets heart. And you've got good things to come here. I'm very, very chuffed for you. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, for those of you that have had problems, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but for those of you that have had problems with your immune system, you could find a specialist, or maybe you start working with somebody who really understands what you've been going through. And this month you could get an answer that actually makes sense. And it's like, as soon as you start maybe a course of treatment or some kind of action around that, you start seeing results almost immediately, which could be great, right? And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, for a select few of you, this, you know, whatever the situation that it arises under, this could potentially be, you know, either new love, you know, potentially with an air sign, or it could also be like a really disruptive pregnancy, you know, like that just comes out of nowhere, right? Like, let's say you're going through a partnership dissolution, and then you realize, oh my gosh, that one time where we, you know, lost our heads and got drunk or whatever, I'm now pregnant and our marriage is actually going down the pot. Do you know what I mean? It could just be like a really juxtaposition kind of energy. All in all, though, it's not a bad month. I just think it's going to be, there's going to be some moments of intensity here. There's no getting around it. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.